Mm. Hey everybody, Mike here from Mike's Computer Tips. Trying to get this camera right, and I could get this video going. But yeah, if you want to upgrade your computer memory to make your computer run faster, that's what this video is going to be about. Upgrading your RAM. Inside your computer, you have a certain amount of memory, which, if you have a laptop, type of memory you have is like this. Okay. It looks like this. It's a small module. It's memory. It goes in the computer. Okay. And you probably have two of them in your computer laptop. And you could find them on the bottom of your computer. If you turn the computer upside down, you pull the power cord out, you unscrew one of the doors on the bottom, pull it up, and you'll see two of these in there, or one, if you own a laptop. And they all look very similar. Some of them are 1 gigabyte, some of them are 2 gigabytes, some of them are 4 gigabytes, and some are 8 gigabyte. Now, each computer will only support a certain amount of memory. It depends on the computer you have. Just to, know like how much memory your computer has in it and how much will it take. Every motherboard will support a certain amount. So if you could put 8 in there, great. Your computer will be better. If you can put more, that's even better. So each computer will support a certain amount. And what you have to do is find out. And I use a company called Crucial.com, which is a pretty well-known memory, reseller. And you can actually even go online to their website, Crucial.com, and you can scan your computer and it will tell you exactly how much memory you have in it and what your model number is. And then you can ask them, hey, do you have, will this computer support more memory? Yeah, you have 4 in there now, you can go to 8. Okay. And then if you want, you can purchase more memory and your computer will work better. Now, what does memory do? Is it speed? There's been over the years a lot of debates. Some people say, oh, memory is not speed. It doesn't make your computer faster. Other people say, yeah, add more memory and your computer will run faster. It's a different type of speed than like clock speed of your processor. Okay, when you add more memory to your computer, you are upgrading your workspace. In other words, when you click on things, when you open files or folders or navigate through the internet, you're going to do that faster, and you will notice that it is much faster when you click on something. Programs will close faster. Programs will open faster by having more memory. You'll have more workspace. Now, what is workspace? Let's say you are checking your email and then you are on YouTube at the same time. You can do that without freezing up. If you are printing, If you are doing a couple different things at a few different websites, you have a bunch of sites open, okay, you can multitask. That's what multitask is. So having more memory in your computer will allow you to do more tasks and more things at the same time. And your computer will be more efficient. Okay. So, yeah, doing a memory upgrade today is not very expensive. Memory is not. The prices used to be very high, and now they're not that high anymore. Basically, a 4 gig stick of memory is around $30 or $35 for a laptop memory. And desktop memory is similar. It's just bigger. It's a longer module. Like this module is for a laptop, and it's kind of small. The desktop one would be twice the size of that. And if you look at your memory, you'll notice that your memory is keyed. There is a key on the bottom. What I mean by key is there is a notch cut out. So the memory will only go in the computer one way. You can't just put it in there, grab it, and just try to put it in your slot on your motherboard. Okay. Now, the way to put in the memory is you have to have your computer turned off. On each of the slots, when I say slots on the motherboard, there are either 2 or 4 areas where you can install memory into. And you will see memory like this standing up. In a laptop, it'll be laying down. In a desktop, it will be standing up. So when you open your laptop, you will see these standing up. Laying down, and there'll be 2 metal bars on each side holding it in. Now, what you have to do is you have to take both your hands and hold the top of each bar and pull them outwards and separate them, and the memory will jump out. It will lift out because that's what's holding it in. So you can install it and take it out at the same time. Now, you have to look at the inside because it's keyed, one side is going to have a notch at some certain point, and one side is going to be bigger and the other side is going to be smaller. And that's how it has to go into the slot. And when you put it in the slot, make sure you are holding it by the top and you press it all the way in, and then you push it flat. Those 2 metal bars will close on it, and then your memory will be installed. Now, on a desktop computer, it's a little bit different. Your memory is standing up. Okay, like I said before, they're longer, and it's standing up. Make sure the power is off. Unplug the power cord for your desktop. Make sure you have adequate light so you can see inside your computer. And it may be easier to lay the tower on the side to install memory, because when you look down in it inside the tower, you will see the memory right above you. And on each side of the memory slot on a desktop computer, you will see these white clips on each end, and that's what's holding the memory in. There'll be a white plastic clip on this side, another one on the other side. And what you have to do is take your finger, open that clip a little gently, and then open the other side, and then you can lift the memory out. Okay, and desktop memory, just like laptop memory, is keyed. So one side will be bigger, and there'll be a cut in it, and then there'll be a small side. It has to go in the exact same way that your slot is keyed. Look at the slot, and you will see one side is bigger, the other side is small, and there'll be a little notch in the center. Place the memory on top, level, and then apply a little pressure from the top on both sides. And then then you'll hear a click. Those two weight holders on each side will go up, and you'll hear a click, and it will put it in place. So once you hear that click, then you know your memory's installed properly. And taking it out is the same way. You take your two fingers on that clip, open, pull them down, lift the memory out. Putting a new stick in, you open the clip, grab the memory by the top, a little bit of pressure, you'll hear the little snap. Sometimes those white clips don't necessarily come up. Most of the time they will. If they don't, make sure the memory is firmly in the slot, and then move those two clips to secure it in. And that's how you install memory. And now remember that each laptop or desktop computer model number is very important when you're searching for memory. So you got to, let's say, for example, I have an HP 5000 desktop. Okay, that's the computer I'm going to put memory in. So I'm going to do a search on the internet, or I'm going to call the computer company and say, I want to upgrade the memory in my HP 5000 series, just for an example. And they will tell you how much memory you can put in. And that's how you do that. And you will notice a good difference when you upgrade, depending how much you upgrade. And how much you put in is another question. It depends on how much you can afford to, put into the memory, or how much, the maximum amount that the computer will support. So those are two things that, you will be able to decide on. How much can you upgrade to? How much can you make it faster? I have 4, it will take 8. Okay, now how much is the 8? Another thing you need to be concerned about with memory too is, good day, Mike, how are you? Oh, I'm doing okay, Peter, how's it going? Good to see you. I'm going to give you a moderator status there, my friend. I can get this thing going. Okay, add moderator. So now you are officially a moderator. So, yeah, I mean, and you can afford to putting in for memory. Wanted to ask how safe are PVNs? Hi, Jackie, March Jackie, great to see you. Yep, it's been a minute, it's been a while. How are things down there in Germany? I hope your channel's doing good, and I hope everything is well for you. And I'm glad you are here. If you have any computers, I am glad to answer them. PVNs have a downside and an upside. What are PVNs? Private networks. A lot of people want to make their network private because they are afraid of people hacking into their computer. Hi, Roxy. Good to see you. Welcome. Anybody coming in, please give the thumbs up. And if you're not subscribed to my channel, please subscribe. And hit the bell notification. If it's on personalized, move it to all so you won't miss any videos that come out. In a nutshell, PVNs are good on the upside because people will not be able to see your IP address. What's an IP address? Every computer that's on the internet has its own physical address. Just like in front of your house, you have a mailbox with an address. Well, a computer works the same way. Every computer has an address, and it's a series of numbers. Oh, good. I am glad you're doing good. Yes, Peter, deleting your prefetch files is a good idea because eventually those are temporary files and eventually they will accumulate and they can slow things down. And I'm a firm believer of doing your cache, clearing your cache, and getting rid of all those files. But not just the prefetch. You have to get rid of the temps, the prefetch, and also do another one in the run box. Put the percentage sign in, type temp in small letters, and then put the percentage sign in again. And then you'll see another area of temporary files. And I recommend getting rid of them. And I also recommend clearing your internet browser history because eventually, from going to thousands of websites, you're going to accumulate a lot of history entries, and you need to clear those out so your browser works good. Roxy, really good question, but it really depends on how often you use your computer. If you're going to a lot of websites and you use your computer a lot, I recommend every couple months you do that. And you can get a program called Ccleaner, which is a free utility program, and it'll do a lot of that for you. Peter, defrag is something that is important, but I wouldn't defrag that often. If you have an SSD hard drive in your computer, you do not need to defrag because it will not defrag. A regular conventional hard drive, you can defrag every once in a while, but I would not defrag that often because it will beat up your hard drive. When you defrag, you are moving files around your hard drive, and there's an arm inside your hard drive that moves around. And my suggestion was if you're going to defrag, only do it once every few months. But before you defrag, make sure you do system file checker first, because defrag puts all the files back in order, but you need to run system file checker first and do your cleaning first before you do defrag. That should be the last thing you do. But let me get back to the real quick, back to the private network. The bad side of having a VPN is your connection is going to be slower. So getting on the internet, and it's going to be slower because of your private network. I don't use VPNs. They are a good thing to be secure and to be safe, but the downside is it's going to run slower. If we delete cache and clean our computer, is there still information hidden? Well, there's always information that's there. So you must remember, when you're on the internet and you're using the internet, and you go, let's say, for example, you go to a website and you buy things on a certain website, Prime, eBay, whatever. These companies put a small file on your computer called a cookie file. And it's not necessarily a bad thing. It just makes it easier for you to navigate back to their website the next time you're going to shop with them. But the problem with temporary cookies, history entries, and temporary files is eventually, after months of using your computer, they get to be 200, 300. It's just like having a lot of emails. If you don't clean out your emails and get rid of emails, you're going to have so many emails and your email will not work that good. And a lot of these free email companies like Yahoo and Gmail, they will not work efficiently. Your email will not work if you have too many emails. You must clean them out. I've seen people with 16,000 emails, and I'm not going to sit there all day and do it for you, but you need to get rid of these emails little by little. You can only remove 100 at a time or 50 at a time generally. But you, just like your house, you want to keep a clean house. Try to maintain your computer as well. I use Tor browser or DuckDuck. It's supposed to be secret and private. Is it wise to use? Well, let me tell you something. I use DuckDuck also. DuckGo, it's called. And a lot of people are not happy with using Google Chrome because they feel their information is being compromised, and it may be compromised. Google basically runs the internet. They're the biggest, and out there. So it's just like Bill Gates and Microsoft. That's the only game in town. But DuckDuck is a little more private. They will not share your information. So I do use that, and I recommend people using DuckDuck for a browser because they don't share your information, and it's much safer platform. Yeah, a lot of people don't trust Google, and that's understandable. Google is very powerful, and what I tell people is if you don't want people to know very private information, don't put it on the web. There are some things that Google is going to find out because you are using, the biggest out there. So they're going to, be able to see a lot of information that you use on your computer, maybe personal information. But just remember, whenever you're buying anything on the internet, make sure you're at a secure website and there's a lock in the corner, and that shows that website is secure. But yes, DuckDuck is a better option, and you can use that as an extension. That's how I do it. I use Google Chrome, but I also use DuckDuck. And it is a good option. So, Peter, yeah, that is a good thing to have on your computer. And DuckDuck is very good, I believe. But getting back to the cleaning thing, you really should do this. Mike, what is the best antivirus out there? Is Windows inbuilt security? Yeah, Windows has their own antivirus built in, and it's called Defender. Defender is good. Defender will block many viruses that you could get on your computer, but there is something that you must know. It is very important for you to do your Windows updates because Microsoft has other protection in those Windows updates. See, the way a lot of people don't really understand how updates work on Windows. Peter, I don't mind the questions. That's what I do. I help people. So it's fine. I don't mind the questions. Any question is fine. I'll be glad to answer it. You need to keep your Windows updates up to date for a couple of reasons, but the main reason is that when people find problems in the operating system, Microsoft will come out with what is called a patch, and a patch has the fix for a lot of these problems. They're called hot fixes. So keep your Windows updates up to date. The critical updates are important. You don't have to update everything, but the critical ones I recommend doing and keeping your computer updated, because that also protects you from viruses and holes that Microsoft has found in the operating system. There's always hackers out there that are trying to find vulnerabilities in your computer and on the internet. So you need to, if you're on Windows 10, you need to keep your updates up to date. That also helps you. What antivirus I use is called Avast, A-V-A-S-T. It's a free antivirus, which I recommend people having. I don't recommend the paid antiviruses for a simple reason. You can get the same protection with a free antivirus. There is no reason to pay $100 or whatever to these companies, and I don't agree with them. I've used and I install free antiviruses for businesses, home users for many years, and they work fine. Cleaning your registry, I use a program called Clean. No, actually, Ccleaner today is even better. Ccleaner, download it. It's a little small program. It's called Ccleaner, just the way it's spelled, Ccleaner, 2 C's. And on the left, you can also clean your cache out by running it. And also, there is a registry option on the left-hand side. Run that. It'll also give you the option if you want to back up your registry. I usually say no. I don't back up my registry, but if you're not sure about things, and I've never had any problems where, you had to back up the registry, but it may be a good thing to do. I don't do it. I can really fix my computer if I have a problem, because that's what I do. But run Ccleaner registry cleaner option. And then after it finds all the problems, it will prompt you to remove these problems and fix them. Click on Fix All Problems, and it will clean out your registry safely. Unless you know what you're doing, stay out of the Windows registry, because you can make changes that are permanent on your computer if you don't know what you're doing. Use Ccleaner, registry cleaner option. At the moment, I have a static IP address that my service provider has given me. Now, is it safe to have a static IP address or not? Well, that's safe. If you are not doing if you're not putting like a lot of, personal information out there, or if you're doing your maintenance, if you're running the Ccleaner, antivirus, being careful what you're doing. I don't believe you need these things. These things are really meant for businesses, banks, and those type of institutions. If you are doing business and personal things on your computer, you may want to use 2 separate computers, one for just doing business and one for doing other things. Because it's like people having their kids on their computer. You know what I mean? I see a lot of people that, like, I might go to fix a computer for somebody, and a woman will have her account, her son's account, her daughter's account. They all share the same computer. That is not a good thing, because when something is wrong with one account, it's going to spill over and affect the computer, because you have one hard drive in there and all this information is on that one hard drive. So if you use a computer for business, try to strictly use it for business. You're welcome, Peter. Any kind of question you have, I'll be glad to answer. So that's what I recommend. If you're doing your maintenance, if you're clearing the cache, watch some of my videos on computer maintenance, which I strongly believe 90% of all computer issues are because people are not doing maintenance. People are getting spyware on their computer. People are not cleaning their cache out, and that gets loaded up and the computer runs slow. People are getting malware on their computer by going to, unsafe sites, things like that. So I always recommend doing the maintenance because that is very important. It's like a car. Every once in a while you need to change your oil on your car. You need to tune it up. Things like that. Well, a computer works the same way. It's just a machine. When you're on the internet, you're susceptible. You're opening yourself up to a lot of things, and people don't realize that. Yeah, I use Malwarebytes. I have even another one that I recommend. I use a program called Super Anti-Spyware Remover. It's free. If you can download that, it's a little bug. It's called Super Anti-Spyware Remover, and it is very good. Malwarebytes is very good. I use the free version, and I highly recommend it. But you must remember when you're downloading these utility programs, sometimes you are downloading that program with other stuff. If there's check marks in there telling you you're going to be downloading other things while you're downloading that, you need to uncheck those boxes, because I noticed that over the years, a lot of people download things and don't look what's going on. They're putting on for an example, you're downloading Avast antivirus. Well, it's also downloading Avast browser. It's also downloading this thing. Make sure you uncheck those things. You don't want those other things. You just want what you're trying to get. So you have to be careful when you download. Before you download something, make sure you're not downloading McAfee and 14 other things. Oh, you're welcome, Morris Jackie. Choose custom installation, unselect the additional software. Yeah, that could, Well, custom is very good because, it gives you the option of unchecking things you don't want. But that's important to do. But you can also just look on that main screen, because on that main screen, when you're downloading something, there are check marks. You're going to get McAfee antivirus, and there'll be a check mark next to that. You're going to get this. Make sure you uncheck those things before you download. McAfee Advisor. Well, I don't use McAfee. I just don't really care for their antivirus. Some people like it. I don't like it. I don't use Symantec, Norton. I don't use McAfee. They have a site advisor, and you don't need to use McAfee to use the site advisor. They have a nice thing called the site advisor, and what that does is it tells you if this website is safe or not. And that could be a good thing. Yeah, I've used it before. It tells you the vulnerabilities of being on that site. So I would say it's a good thing. Yeah, I've used that many times. If you're not sure, if something's safe or something isn't safe. But I don't use their antivirus. A lot of people do. My point is, why pay for it? And the thing is kind of funny, because some of these antiviruses, and I don't want to really mention names, but I have done tests where the free antiviruses will find us that the paid ones pass by. So just because you're paying money for something doesn't mean you're going to get something fantastic. That's what I've learned over the years. And a lot of people debate on that, say, oh, no, I pay, $100 a year for my antivirus and it's great. More power to you, but I don't pay for it because you can generally the only difference from a paid antivirus or a free antivirus is the support. When you're getting a free antivirus, you have to update it manually yourself. You have to click update, and then it will update it and give you the latest virus definition files, which are very important because those definition files is what protects you from the viruses. A lot of these paid antivirus companies, they will do that for you because you're paying for their service. But it only takes one click to update it yourself. So I don't see the big deal. I used to use ESET Nod 32. I had the business cracked version, but now they finally caught up with me. But it was good. Yeah, I used Nod 32 before. You have to be careful with cracked versions because, it's not. So really, it's basically using it illegally, and you may get viruses just because of that. A lot of these companies are getting really hip to that, and they're finding people using their crack stuff, and they're shutting it down once they find out eventually. So yeah, I've used programs that work for years, paid ones with a crack version, but eventually they catch up with that and, make it non-usable. That's what happens with that. Yeah, and I mean, don't get me wrong. I'm not saying that all antiviruses that you pay for are bad, because they're not. There are some good ones, like that Nod 32. I found that was a pretty good one. But my point is, you're getting the same protection, basically, with the free one. And, another point I want to make is, don't just think because you have a good antivirus that your computer is, well protected. I have more faith in the spyware remover programs than I do in any antivirus, because antiviruses will only look for viruses. Spyware remover programs like Malwarebytes, Super Anti-Spyware Remover, they look for other variants. And that's a very important point that a lot of people don't realize. They might update their antivirus, run a scan. Oh, I don't have viruses. But I guarantee you, if you run some of the spyware removal programs, they'll find things. They may not all be dangerous, but they'll find other things that you may not have. I find when I had Norton, it was consuming my computer. It seems like it was taking over my computer and used too much memory. Yeah, Peter, I find the same thing, and that's true for Norton. Symantec is actually the company's name. And I don't recommend that. I take it off my customers' computers all the time. What they do is similar to what AOL did back in the 80s and the 90s. They use your computer's resources, and a lot of them, and they will slow your computer down. Norton used to have this Norton on nuts and bolts with like 10 or 15 of these programs built in. The only problem is when you install it, you got so many programs in there that your computer's running really slow now. And that's the same thing with bloatware. When you buy a new computer, they put on so much extra things on that computer that you don't need, and it slows it down. Once you remove a lot of that, the computer will run faster. So yeah, Peter, you're 100% right, and that's what Norton antivirus does, and they have all kinds of things, and they uses a lot of your Windows resources, and it slows your computer down. It definitely does. I tell people that. I've been telling those people for years. Use a good Ccleaner, super anti-spyware remover, or Malwarebytes free version, or if you want the Malwarebytes paid version, that's even better. If you want to pay $30 or $35 for a good anti-malware program, get the paid version of Malwarebytes, which is good. You have the trial, they give you a 30-day, and then if you want to pay for it, you can pay for it. And that's a very good, see, what it does is it checks everything on your computer, checks for all kinds of different type of infections, Malwarebytes does, and super anti-spyware. That's why I recommend it. I'm going to make a video on just that. Yeah, Peter, any kind of question? Sure. Hey, Aaron, how you doing? I haven't seen you in a while. Happy morning to you, my friend. One more question. Incognito mode is safe. Incognito mode is safe. Sure. Yeah, you can go into incognito mode. There are things that you won't be able to do in incognito mode, but you are not really broadcasting, out on the internet in incognito mode. If you want to learn more about incognito mode, you can watch a YouTube video on that. But yeah, incognito mode is more private than not being in it, but you are limited, just like you are limited with VPNs. Because you must remember, because you are being more secretive, there are other things that, are going to be limiting you because you are closing ports that hackers can access. You are limiting them, but you're also limiting yourself to what you can do. But yes, incognito mode is safe, and it is more secretive than not being in it. So any other questions I can help you with, I would be glad to. But basically, this video is on memory, but I am always up to answer any computer questions that I can help people with. And, if you have an antivirus that's slowing your computer down, uninstall it, or wait till your trial is up or it's finished, paid for, then uninstall it and put the free one on there. Which make sure you use Ccleaner and use super anti-spyware remover, which are very good programs, and they're both free. Ccleaner doesn't even have a paid version, I believe, but super anti-spyware remover has a paid version, but the free version is great. I've removed some of the really bad viruses with that, where nothing else seemed to work. I have a Commodore 64. Do you think I should update my computer? Well, I think you should update it probably. Depends on what you use your computer for. People go out and buy gaming computers and they never do gaming. Aaron, it all depends on what you're using your computer for. If your computer does everything you want it to do, then, maybe stay with what you have. Been great, chatted, learned a lot, appreciate it. Oh, Mike. Okay, my friend. Australia. Okay, down under. Yeah. Get some sleep and visit our channel another time. And please give the thumbs up and make sure you click that bell so you don't miss any videos. No, I don't use floppy disks anymore. Better to use a USB flash drive where you can plug in your USB. But no, floppy drives I don't use. I do know people that still use them, but I don't use them. Have the bell smashed and we'll be back. Great, Peter. That sounds good. Always great to chat with you. There's 5 people and 4 thumbs up. If you haven't, thumbs up. Make sure you do the thumbs up, thumbs down. Make sure you subscribe to my channel. Yeah, people do use them for the games. Like Windows XP, people still use Windows XP. Maybe not online because it's not good online. Okay, Morris, Jackie, great to see you. God bless, and I'll see you again. But, some games, like the classic older games, will only work on like Commodore and Windows XP. So, those things, do have a purpose. But I don't do that. I don't do gaming. I do some editing. And I have my editing computer for that. I use a Dell Studio XPS with 16 gig RAM and NVIDIA 4 gig video card. And I use a Crucial SSD hard drive to boot it up. And that's all really I need. That's probably overkill because when I do edit videos, I don't do really dramatic things. I just put like intros and outros and a few things in. So it's basic, video editing that I do. But if you're going to edit videos, I recommend Resolve free version. Resolve is a very good video editor. I highly recommend it, and that's all I use to edit my videos. Other than the little ones that you have on a phone, little programs that you can, put in little things with. That's okay too, but I like to use Resolve. With that, I think I'm going to wrap up this video live stream, and I'm glad everybody came, and I appreciate all your questions. If you have any more questions for me, make sure you leave them in the comments, and I will answer them. Until my next video, thanks for watching. Have a good day. I don't know.